Afternoon. Your thoughts on this fresh rally in metals and how should one approach it?
Yeah, good afternoon. So Anuj, when good news comes, you'll not know from which quarter it comes. Tata Steel is at a 10-year high, and people will keep doubting why 1,200 rupees. They've never had it so good. So in all this unfortunate event of 1.5 years, metals have regained their composure after 10 years, and there is no letting. There is no capacity which has come up, and with China too fraying, now it is Russia which is saying exports will be banned. So I think good news only comes when the chips are really up. So I think Tata Steel is definitely headed higher, and so is SAIL. You've seen their quarterly numbers, standout numbers. On that also, Anuj, let me point out that the maximum amount of debt reduction has taken place in these companies. So they have become very, very light, and return on capital, return on equity will be very smart. So yes, metals are in a very sweet spot, which is, indicating and telling you the real picture is just going to take off, I think.
All right, Sanjiv, you said it. For Tata Steel, their exposure to Europe from being a bit of a drag, it's going to be a positive because prices there are high and demand as well is quite strong. So that's about Tata Steel. But the other stock you mentioned is SAIL. So let's get in Nimesh because he's tracking a brokerage note that came in. Kotak Institutional Equities, they've initiated coverage on SAIL with a buy rating. Nimesh, fill us in with all the rationale for that initiation.
Hi Nigel, so let me also join the metals party. So there is a report from Kotak Institutional Equities on SAIL. They've initiated a coverage on the stock with a target price of 170. They believe SAIL is in a sweet spot because of the rise in the domestic steel prices, coupled with the elevated iron ore prices as well. Second, they believe that with domestic expansions in place, the volumes will kick in, and this will mean an operating leverage as well for SAIL going forward. And the third and the most important part is they expect SAIL to reduce the debt by 58% between FY20 and FY22, and between FY22 and FY24, they expect debt to EBITDA to be less than 1%, and that would mean further upside in terms of equity capital for SAIL, and hence they have initiated a coverage in the stock with a target price of 170.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Nimesh. Well, Sanjiv, what about the other ferrous names like a JSPL? That's seen a sharp correction from around 500 rupees to sub 400 rupees. Quite a large correction. I mean, if you're looking to buy into it, what's your view on that one, given the fact that they have a high amount of exposure to longs, where demand is a little bit weakish, pricing as well is not too great?
So Nigel, there was a little bit of issue on the corporate side when they said that the promoter was buying back the power assets at 1/4 of the price. And I think that came in for a lot of negativity from the institutions. So till they don't give clarity on that, JSPL will be an avoid. We think JSW, SAIL and Tata Steel, these three orders could be outperformers. Let me also tell you that Tata Steel is the lowest cost producer of steel, not in India, in the world. So, the link up which they have with iron ore and other supplies makes it very, very competitive. So I would say stay with the Tata Steel and SAIL. Don't get lured by others because there is a little bit of issues till you don't get clarification there.
Okay, Sanjeev, one of your picks has been J&K Bank. That had a big run, and you still have very aggressive targets on that stock, I believe.
Yes, Anuj, in October when it was 17 rupees and Modi ji announced the package for Kashmir, I had put my neck out that you cannot have a bank of the size of J&K, at trading at abysmal levels. Now with the new realm with changing, Kashmir becoming a very, very lucrative place, I think J&K Bank is headed for spaces. As a disclosure, it has been one of our top picks in the last year. It's tripled in size, but I don't see any reason why it cannot go past to 70 rupees. On the back also that the pessimism in PSU banks was overdone. J&K Bank has a very small equity and they've raised capital. Plus, Anu, let me tell you, it had the highest NIM in all banking circles for many, many years. It is now only that the NIMs have started to reduce because of NPAs. As you know, in J&K and in the Muslim community, interests are not to be taken and so on. So the bank has been a very, very sweet spot over there. That and South Indian Bank have doubled. So I think mid-cap banks are just raring to go. And I'll name a few more which I think can be outperformers in the next 2 years.
Okay, all right. Sanjeev, you briefly touched upon the domestic theme as well. And The global cyclical space is doing well. That's steel, metals, they're doing well. What about the domestic cyclical theme? That's cement, if I could call it that. We had just had KCP's numbers that came out for you on the screen, and the numbers look very, very good on the top line, on the margins, as well as on the profitability. Cement, mid cap or large cap, what would you look at?
So clearly, Nigel, it has to be ULTRATECH. Let me tell you, in this whole lockdown, there were three things which were very eminent. The cable laying by Bharti and Jio, Domino's Pizzas, and the ready-mix trucks of ULTRATECH. There is construction work across the board which is going up. And who better than 110 million tons and ULTRATECH? So ULTRATECH and Ambuja would be my two top picks. As a disclosure, we've had these, they've doubled from where they are. And we still think that they are going to be the real proxy plays for building India. Materials are in a very sweet spot. It's not just steel, it is cement. It is going to be mid-cap banks, which we think can outperform from here.
All right, Sanjiv, just stay on with us. For the time being, we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll focus.
संजीव भसीन जी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। संजीव जी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और आपने एक ज़बरदस्त स्पीच सुनी और बहुत सारे बड़े प्लान्स रखे गए जो रिलायंस की न्यू रिलायंस जिसको खुद कह रहे हैं वो उसमें तमाम इनिशिएटिव्स किए गए। आपने क्या पिक किया इसमें से सबसे बढ़िया ऐलान आपको कौन सा लगा?
तो नीरज जी पहले तो सबसे बड़ा ऐलान ये कि देश की सेवा में बहुत कुछ योग रहा है रिलायंस का, और हम पैसे की बात तो और शेयर की बात तो करेंगे, लेकिन जो ऑक्सीजन और जिस तरह से उन्होंने ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एफर्ट किया वो बता रही है कि कॉर्पोरेट इंडिया हैज रियली स्टूड अप टू दिस पैंडेमिक एंड हैट्स ऑफ टू ऑल कॉर्पोरेट इंडिया एंड स्पेशली रिलायंस। पहली बात तो ये। दूसरी बात देखिए, ग्रीन एनर्जी इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग ऑल्टरनेटिव। उसके ऊपर मैं इतना स्पेशलिस्ट नहीं हूं तो मैं टिप्पणी इतनी नहीं कर सकता, बट नीरज जी रिलायंस जैसी कंपनी 1 लाख करोड़ का आपको कैपेक्स बताती रहती है, विच इज वेरी बुलिश फॉर इंडिया इनकॉर्पोरेटेड। इसका मतलब जिस तरह से जॉब्स और क्रिएशन होगी एंड द अंडरलाइंग एसेट, इट इज नॉट शेल गैस और ईवीज, वेयर एवरीवन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट, ही इज टॉकिंग ऑफ ग्रीन एनर्जी विच इज अ ग्लोबल साइकिल एंड इंडिया सेंट्रिक। आप देख ही सकते हैं हाउ जियो हैज गार्नर्ड मार्केट शेयर। सो वेरी वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक ऑन द लॉन्गर टर्म। मे बी द मार्केट डिडंट अप्रिशिएट अनदर कैपेक्स इन द शॉर्ट रन, बट सम ऑफ पार्ट्स में आज तो बहुत ही मोमेंटस डे है कि सच अ बिग कंपनी हैज कम एंड क्लैरिफाइड ऑन देयर एफर्ट्स इन द ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एफर्ट एंड दे हैव गिवन यू अ 1 लाख करोड़ रोड मैप इन द नेक्स्ट 5 years. एक्सट्रीमली पॉजिटिव।
जी भसीन साहब नमस्कार, मैं शैलेंद्र बोल रहा हूँ। रिलायंस के 2 एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस इंजन्स जो हैं वो है रिलायंस जियो और रिलायंस रिटेल। यहाँ पर काफ़ी चर्चा हुई 5G युक्त और 2G मुक्त करने को पूरे भारतवर्ष को। यहाँ पर आप क्या ग्रोथ देखते हैं? अंबानी साहब ने ये कहा कि 630 करोड़ गीगाबाइट पर मंथ डेटा कंजम्पशन उनको होता हुआ देखा पिछले 18 महीनों में, जो लगभग 45% ग्रोथ है उस समय पहले से। जियो के बिजनेस के लिए और रिलायंस रिटेल के बिजनेस के लिए आपने कौन सी 2 या 3 अहम चीज़ें पकड़ी?
तो देखिए शैलेंद्र जी, अभी आपको दिख ही रहा है कि टीवी सब देखते हैं, शेयर बाजार भी बहुत आपका चल रहा है इस कारण से क्योंकि व्यूअरशिप है। वी एज ए टचवुड एज ए ब्रोकिंग हाउस आर वेरी वेरी इन अ गुड स्पेस और डेटा इज ह्यूमंगस, और साथ में ही एंड भारती आर नाउ कंट्रोलिंग 90% ऑफ द मार्केट। और अगर वो दोनों ही 5G में इतना एडमेंट है जो इन्होंने बताया कि तो आई थिंक द नेक्स्ट 2 years एक्चुअली बिलोंग ओनली टू डेटा, क्योंकि आपने देखा है ये पेंडेमिक में जो एक चीज रह गई है वो है डेटा एंड डिजिटल, और ये चीजें अब बदलने नहीं वाली। तो एक्सट्रीमली पॉजिटिव ऑन दैट एंड लाइक यू सीन के द डिजिटल इनिशिएटिव ऑन रिटेल इज आल्सो गोइंग टू प्ले आउट। आज आप पैन इंडिया कहीं भी मॉल चले जाओ, कहीं भी चले जाओ तो रिलायंस रिटेल स्टैंड्स आउट देयर। तो वेरी वेरी वेल डाइवर्सिफाइड एज वी नो, एनर्जी नो लॉन्गर इज अ प्ले। तो इन्होंने जो जो बिजनेसेस अपने डाइवर्सिफाई करें और आगे का भी रोड मैप दे दिया। इट साउंड्स एंड इट सीम्स very 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 lucrative for a new investor to look at this stock with a 5-year horizon.